Zelda. Screw that! Link! A timeless hero, swordsman, and an iconic mascot among Nintendo's vast library of games whose more than earned status as one of the pantheons among the gaming greats.
He's gone through a number of incarnations across the series' lifespan, with a number of great games. However, sometimes, there's moments that remind us why he stays mute.
CDI Link, the face of Philips' CDI misfire. And evil, I guess.
And the Legend of Zelda Cartoon Link. He's a dick. Just like Not Wiz and I'm Not Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze. Hey, rude! Yeah, I just won't say the thing.
They were something because of who would win it.
Yeah, not that, but fuck you!
Well, excuse me, princess!
No, wrong Link.
Oh, yeah, sorry. But the right sort of Link was making Nintendo bank in the early 90s.
Ah yes, with the advent of A Link to the Past and the rest of the SNES catalogue, Nintendo was rolling in the green and keeping steady pace with Sega in the console war. However, feeling as though they needed a bit more money in the bank, they decided to strike a deal with Sony of all people to create a special apparatus.
The Super NES CD-ROM, because adding a CD add-on to a cartridge-based system is always a good idea. But insisting that Philips was a better partner for the Avengers instead, they gave Sony the finger and joined forces with them instead. Yeah, only problem.
Sony know you, Nintendo, by creating the PlayStation instead. Good job there, guys. And would later team up with Philips themselves to create their own CD-based video game console, the CDI. As a compromise though, Nintendo did give Philips permission to use some of their characters for a select few of their games.
The first of which was Hotel Mario, which certainly was the Mario game of all time. But the more infamous of the bunch would certainly have to be...
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
Something special.
Without much of a character or backstory behind his name, CDI Link is a teenage swordsman who usually lounges about the castle, and I'm sure does some stuff that's very important off-screen or so.
That's until a mysterious wizard flies down one day, tells the king that his island has been under attack by Ganon, reads off a scroll with his name totes in it, sends Link off without any other context, and thus starts his fight against the ambiguously named Faces of Evil. I did not mispronounce that, your mum did.
Sure, CDI Link doesn't have much going for him in the name of plot, but throughout the game we can see that while he's not too bright, his heart is in the right place and he's willing to save the day. At least for the price of a kiss. For luck.
Ha!
Or at the very least, he's just very oblivious. Still, he has just some level of confidence if he was predestined to defeat Ganon. And he's a skilled swordsman to boot as well.
But when he's about to be under attack by the evil forces of Ganon, CDI Link has surprisingly a lot of gear packed in order to rattle the boots off any of his minions.
When there's no time to pack, his sword will be enough.
His normal sword? Yeah, this is your fine. The power sword, however, is where it's really at. Embedded with a fire diamond, this baby can unleash sword beams like no tomorrow, and allows Link to fight them even when he's not at full health. Wait, the CDI game's doing and adding something better than the actual Zelda game?
Impossible, I know. Otherwise, it's still a pretty good sword, capable of one-shotting Dairas, Ghosts, Ragnaroks, Werewolves, and even Moblins, which in regular Zelda games are one tough cookie to take down normally.
NB.
Don't call me that.
Please. If there's any sword that's better than that, it's certainly the Smart Sword! It doesn't hurt anyone friendly, and it even makes people talk!
Well, you'll find that any sword can make people talk upon contact, usually with screams of pain and anguish, but still.
My good sir, those are unsmart swords. See? Watch! As with this sword I have in hand, it won't hurt me because I'm friendly.
Now, I don't think that's...
Huh? Oh! This is what Boomstick must have meant by a sharp note!
What the fuck is Boomst? It's a smart sword, not a smart not whiz after all. Well, if Link isn't in the mood to fire off sword beams, his reflecting shield is more than capable of repelling enemy projectiles and returning them back to sender. Cursing the cursor with twice the... yeah, you get it.
So he can spam beams against you and reflect any of your shit if you attempt to fight back? Shit, I got a couple curses to say to that.
Don't you ever curse the legendary Morshoe, as he gives Link access to bombs, oil for his lantern, and even rope. Don't forget the rope!
Bombs for obviously blowing stuff up, rope for reaching high ledges, and oil which powers his lantern. It can light up entire dark rooms even. For a couple seconds at least before he needs to light it again.
Actually, the magic lantern, which is the final one he gets, doesn't require any oil to use, and even allows Link to straight up see invisible enemies. As with the case of the sand crew he's blocking the way to Ganon's lair. Okay.
That is very oddly specific. Let me guess, the next thing you'll say is that he can shoot out fireballs and snow.
Yeah, he can shoot out fireballs and snowballs, yeah.
With the Firestones, yeah, that's what they're called, he usually unleashes 3 fireballs per throw, perfect for annihilating ice enemies and overwhelming foes with an unrelenting power of fire. The snowballs in turn, he can only throw 1 at a time, but a great vice versa against fire things and make for a decent frosty surprise.
You want like oddly specific? Get this shit. With the bell, he's able to freeze time for 8 seconds. Which only works specifically against flying enemies. Anything else is a no-go.
I guess if anything flies in general, it's safe to assume that the bell will work on it.
Fuck it, might as well. It's at least better than his winged helmet, which allows him to jump higher and cross further distances. Which, yeah, has its uses, sure, but, I mean, could have had time stopping, man.
I got something even better than that. His canteen! That specifically, what he carries in that canteen, which is the water of life. Capable of completely healing him in 1 drink. Though he can only hold 1 bottle of the stuff at the time, so he really needs to make a count with this one.
If he really wants to pack a punch, his power glove comes in handy. Ha! When he wants to put a bit more oomph in his attacks. With it, his one-handed normal sword attacks can strike with the same power as his bombs.
Link's bombs are usually capable of breaking large boulders and columns. If we take into account this moment, for example, and run it into the numbers machine for a bit, the explosive yield would result in about 276 megajoules or 0.06 tons of TNT. Small building level for sure.
This means that whenever CDI Link is hitting people with the power glove, he's hitting with at least the same amount of force each time. Which has gotta hurt. A lot.
And lastly, for his equipment, if blowing them up or punching them with a building-sized punches won't work, sure, he's got the Book of Koridai, which he can throw at enemies in order to seal them within its pages, removing them from the battlefield entirely. Ganon can, he can testify for that twice. The one also worked.
The book isn't completely foolproof, as it isn't specifically stated that it can work on people other than Ganon, but you know, you can just like move slightly to the left, I'd imagine, if it's thrown at you, but we'll give him benefit of the doubt on this one, sure.
Which, funnily enough, helps us segue into feats and shit.
Wait! Eh? His magic pouch can hold just about anything.
Very cool, very cool.
Despite how gullible he is, the cunt is quite tough. Being able to completely shrug off thrown axes, spears, giant mozzie bites, icicles, and rocks bang into his head. He can survive long-ass falls, is somehow alright standing in lava and frozen tundras, and can survive being in the vicinity of his own bombs.
And if you believe the whole bomb thing was a one-off, take Glupgo. In this cutscene, all it takes is 1 feeding session for Link to completely obliterate this poopy head. Accounting for his size, the bomb explosion, and everything else, this yields us 49.44 megajoules, give or take. Not quite in the same range as the earlier feat, but still notable.
Yeah, the fact he's tagging his own explosions like that is definitely something to not to scoff at. And yeah, in gameplay, Glutko is the size of Link, and not really as big as the cutscene, but we're gonna accept the cutscene's version of events compared to the gameplay, because the cutscenes are what people actually care about. The gameplay sucks.
Shit, even Link's normal sword strikes are capable of destroying these armors, guys. Enemies completely made out of stone. And in cutscenes, he also destroyed Militron's armor in a single go. Any casual wall level enjoyers in chat?
Oh, so in Wand of Gamelon, Zelda's power glove is 10 times stronger than her bombs. And Link should at least be able to scale to Zelda in that game, since they're capable of doing the same shit. Which means if you want any more evidence that Link's power glove is strong as shit, that was it.
His speed in turn isn't anything too impressive, but he's able to react to axes and spears being thrown at him, along with avoiding speared rocks from a volcano, and can even keep up with these Arpagos, which resemble pterodactyls, which were fast, 50 to 67 miles per hour, give or take, usually. Hey, it's still impressive.
That, funnily enough, takes us back to Zelda scaling via Ganon. See, in Wand of Gamelon, he very clearly shoots out lightning, and in Zelda's adventure, Ganon is seen firing lightning balls, I guess, meaning it's a consistent thing.
And sure, that specific lightning isn't really reaching FTL levels of fast, but it's massively hypersonic shit regardless, meaning Link ain't a slouch when it comes to keeping up with any foe.
But don't let any of this fool you into thinking he's perfect. This Link has never defeated his incarnation of Ganon on his own. Zelda once did it long after the events of his game, making Ganon shit himself to death so hard he annihilated his entire room, worth around 0.73 tons of TNT. I guess if Zelda did it, then it's safe to assume Link should scale to this, right?
Well, Link was completely captured by Ganon at this point, and only shows up properly in that game's ending. In fact, in both phases and Wand, Ganon can only be defeated by the game's MacGuffin item and nothing else. And Link would only ever meet this Ganon once more in the future when his shit got pushed in Zelda's Adventure. Not good.
It also doesn't help that most of Link's items have an actual cost to them. The helmet and bell cost 5 rubies to use per use, while the power glove costs 10. Sure, you can carry 999 max rubies with him at all times, but having shit powered by the money you need and use on a frequent basis means that sooner or later, you'll just run out. Plus, his elemental projectiles and bombs only get 99 uses as well before they're all gone. Not to mention the water of life, he can only have 1 bottle of it. That's right, CDI Link only has 1 bottle for healing. A bit problematic, don't you think?
Okay. So his items might be limited in uses, but at least he's still got the power sword, lantern, shield, etc. Right?
Oh sure, if he was to actually use them instead of being an absolute tool, he might be a competent swordsman, but saying he's a bit of a tool is quite the understatement. He just kinda goes with the flow and does whatever he wants without actually thinking, which usually does him good, but doesn't help that everyone else in the CDI verse is also fucking stupid.
Heck, in Wanda Gamelon, he doesn't even show up for most of it since he tried to hook up with Lady Alma and get a kiss. Only for her to approach his canteen and trap him in a mirror. Which, by the way, he was only to escape thanks to Zelda smashing that in the ending cutscene. Whoopsie!
Well, at least he's determined. Can't fault him for that. He might be dumb, he might be stupid, heck, he might not even be the hero we deserve. But above everything else, at least he tries his best. And as long as he gets that kiss from Zelda in the end, you can count on him to at least get something done and come back home with a smile.
He also, he'd save Koridai by himself, so.
Oh, that's Koridai. I mean, Zelda had to save Gamelon.
And Ptolemac.
Wait a minute. Does Link have the Triforce of Courage? We didn't actually mention it.
Actually, King Harkinian has it.
What, God?
Yeah, he just states that he has it in the intro, gets captured anyways, then is never brought up again. Oh, and the Triforce of Wisdom is only used by Impa to look at what's happening at the current moment, and that's about it.
What about the Triforce of Power?
Oh, funny story about that. I'll get to you later on that one, yeah.
Huh. Well, that's something worth more than dinner to wonder for.
As it is written, you, Link, are the hero of Koridai.
I guess that's worth a kiss, huh? Ha! I won!
Okay, now you can say the excuse me, princess thing.
I don't think I will.
Oh, fuck off then. Once upon a time, there existed a kingdom by the name of Hyrule, ruled by the mighty King Harkinian.
Him again?
Yep, and his daughter, the Princess Zelda. They ruled and stuff.
Oh, okay, good. Nothing original here.
Oh, yeah, this cartoon is actually the 4th ever piece of Zelda media ever, after the first 2 games in the board game. So yeah, by this point, it was still kind of a new concept.
Huh. Oh, that's neat.
However, the kingdom of Hyrule would never be safe so long as the evil wizard Ganon existed. Wielder of the Triforce of Power, oh no, there it is. He needed Hyrule's Triforce of Wisdom to gain ultimate power and destroy his enemies. Knowing of this, Princess Zelda enlisted the help of a great hero, a wise and mighty knight of great renown. This dopey fuck!
Excuse me, princess.
Enticed by the chance to... Oh, well, okay, only enticed by Zelda's ass, Link decided to join and live in Hyrule Temple literally in the exact same room as the Triforce of Wisdom as its greatest savior.
And even as others tried to take his place, like the White Knight, Link proved again and again that he was the right man for the job.
Wielding his legendary blade, the Chris Sword, Link engaged
Wait. That teeny tiny weeny little thing is his weapon? Look, I wasn't expecting the Master Sword to debut and all this stuff fucking things, but what the hell is that little thing? Is that a fucking knife?
Link engaged in battle again and again against Ganon's devious plans, including the time he created a dominatrix clone of Zelda, the time he attacked Link with sentient cleaning equipment, or the time he fucking killed Link.
Wait, what?
He got better, he was only mostly dead.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Link was simply sent to Ganon's evil jar, a giant glass jar that all of Ganon's troops come from. Yeah, through the uses of his Chris Sword, Link is able to fire concentrated energy zaps that are capable of instantly setting Ganon's minions into the evil jar.
But these zaps don't exactly teleport them there. It's more that whenever Ganon's forces are killed, they are instantly returned to the jar. The Chris Sword essentially shoots laser beams of death, strong enough to explode holes in the side of walls.
Thankful for the Kingdom of Hyrule, Link is extremely skilled with the Chris Sword. He can fire on his enemies without even looking at them, and one time was able to reflect a shot off of a plate thrown in the air 3 times to hit a dragon perfectly while defending with his shield.
While these energy zaps are primarily used against magical enemies, they can also light things on fire, carve perfectly circular holes into the ground, undo magical power-ups, slice through rocks, and vaporize ropes.
He can even shoot a hole from the bottom of the underworld to its ceiling to escape from Ganon's lair with it? What the fuck? Well, underworld shooting beams aside, the sword isn't just good for a laser pointer either. It's sharp enough to cut clean through a metal chain with a casual slice. And while a Chris sword is able to fire an unlimited amount of these blasts, it's not the only piece of Link's equipment capable of firing them.
Link wields an extensive arsenal, all held in a single pouch on his side through the usage of some shrinking magic.
Link regularly pulls out weapons for both himself and Zelda to use, including the likes of his bows. These bows are able to fire a limited number of energy zaps, and also regular arrows, of course.
Or his boomerangs, able to disintegrate things in a single tap, as well as be used like an energy zap. While normal energy zaps have shown to be less effective on things that aren't magical beings, the boomerang is able to disintegrate a towel that was overpowering Link.
You know what? Not even surprised.
And uses the same effect as a light arrow that disintegrated a rock, implying that some kind of alternate energy is used here to the standard energy zaps.
He naturally also carries a shield. No, he doesn't use it nearly as much as you'd expect until he's older. His shield is a wooden buckler, later upgraded, that is strong enough to block a stream of dragon fire, and even surf on fire. It also seems to fly a little. What exactly is happening here?
Well, regardless, he eventually got his shield upgraded through magic juice to be able to deflect energy bolts, even from a form of Ganon way stronger than he believed he could defeat.
It's not his only defensive tool. He possesses a ring that, honestly, like a lot of his equipment, he just found on some random fucker he killed one day. This ring is able to create a force field, and that's about it.
Through the same method of finding something randomly super useful on a rando he fucking murdered, he acquired the magic whistle. This whistle is capable of summoning a tornado that can carry him and multiple other people and a flying unicorn Pegasus out of the underworld. Because of course it can.
But normally, if he wants to get from place to place, he can simply call on his ever-famous and faithful horse, Catherine.
If he needs something a bit more explosive than a sword, boomerang, or horse though, he has a supply of bombs that go kaboom. Able to blow big holes, be used for bomb jumps, and one of them was even able to destroy the Triforce of Wisdom.
What?
It got better.
Also, he has rope. Oh, well, it's rope, isn't it?
With these tools, Link has thwarted Ganon's plans time and time again. He stopped him from trying to steal the Triforce of Wisdom through his many nefarious means, ranging from dragon to turning Link into a frog or creating a bubble that he can't even escape from.
I swear, half of those you made up.
And one time, he even used a giant magnet to drag the entirety of Hyrule Castle down underground.
Alright, now you're just shitting me.
To stop this, Link needed to acquire a bracelet strong enough to overpower the magnet, the Bracelet of Power. This piece of jewelry grants Link a minute of super strength, enough to overpower the magnet and shatter chains.
Without it though, Link is still strong enough to match up against Ganon. According to him, only 2 shots from his Chris sword is needed to take Ganon out. And even then, he has regularly shown himself to be Ganon's equal in battle.
And Ganon is not weak. He was once able to survive a big-ass explosion from one of Link's bombs, which when measured comes out to 160 megajoules.
Even more impressively is that Zelda has been able to generate enough energy to freeze a large wall of ice. Compared to the size of her and this fish, this would have required upwards of 0.3 tons of TNT to accomplish. Enough to destroy, you guessed it, a small building.
Link has demonstrated his strength on numerous occasions. He regularly jumps insane heights unaided, and aided, has knocked down doors, thrown marbles across rooms, and even tossed several enemies several meters into the air with his bare hands.
He is so good at jumping, he once jumped hard and fast enough to catch up to a flying unicorn that had been flying away for quite some time.
When enraged, he even walloped these spider guys without his weapons.
He's a tough fucker too, having been tossed through several walls and out of a barn by an Octorok and getting up almost completely uninjured, and falling from an insane height unharmed with just a bit of hay to break his fall.
Link has been electrocuted underwater for an extended period of time, kicked by a giant statue, and even in a weakened frog state has been able to survive being blasted by Ganon's evil magic. And Ganon's magic has been able to cause his entire castle to crumble around him with a single shot.
He was also somewhere near this explosion. I don't know, we can't really tell where it was.
Normally though, Link would just avoid Ganon's attacks. He's fast enough to dodge a Zola's mouth beam, a laser shooting ninja, catch up to one of these things that can travel this fast.
And has even claimed to have split-second reaction times. Yeah, I guess you're right, he's fast. Jumping up and slicing a guy's weapon in half faster than he can react, and cutting a thrown rake in half. He has even managed to defend against Ganon's own energy blasts.
These blasts are most likely intended to be lightning, as they electrocute people on multiple occasions, and it's possible that various lasers are intended to be moving at light speed, but we can't really be sure on that.
You think with all these accomplishments, Link would have gotten laid by now, and by God, he has tried. This man is still absolutely thirsty for the good puss.
Link can be kind of a creep sometimes.
Oh, sometime, okay.
One time he found Zelda tired on his bed after fighting a monster and just screamed, "Oh boy, smooching time!" and tried to jump tackle force a kiss on her.
This man will never stop. He always tries to ask her for a kiss, and is so down bad that he seems totally into being domed by her dark clone. He even is so daft when Zelda's the topic that he was once just conned into giving away his crystal sword for a sword he's never had before, just cause the guy selling it said it makes princesses find you hot. I guess we can call that the hot sword.
He was originally meant to get it for free too. He conned himself into getting conned into paying for a free weapon. What a dumbass.
Thankfully, while he is very, very dumb, and trust me, this isn't coming from someone of ample praise, he is an incredible fighter. He can land a shot with his bow perfectly, even while literally asleep, and defeat 3 moblins at once using just his sword and a pillow. The deadliest of bedwear.
He nearly took out 5 guys at once, and later was even skilled enough to single-handedly defeat 5 Stelvos and 3 moblins at the same time.
He can easily defeat thugs as if they were nothing, and even while literally tied to Princess Zelda via his own belt, managed to take out 7 Stelfos.
It's not too surprising then that, despite everything, Zelda is kind of into him. He might be a whiny baby who complains about not living like a hero and exploring, and a complete pervert who stares at Zelda when she's not wearing a robe, and the kind of guy to pretend to be sick to shirk his responsibilities, but... Wait, no, why is she into him?
Because despite all that, Link is a hero. He is a man who will do the right thing and protect Hyrule and Zelda with his life before ever thinking about the consequences. He was able to figure out the fake Zelda wasn't his own very easily, and has given everything to saving the people he has sworn to protect.
When it comes down to it, he and Zelda truly are friends, and clearly have a thing for each other. And by the time of the second game's story, the two had finally become a couple, dancing together in the ball, and finally letting Link have that kiss.
He might not be the hero of time, the hero of Twilight, the hero of trains, but this Link is nonetheless a hero in his own right. We can just call him the hero of the overworld. Speaking of which, this Link also has the Triforce carriage, right?
Actually, it doesn't exist until Captain N, and the only character who uses it is the Eggplant Wizard from Kid Icarus.
What the fuck?
I know, it was all my fault. So there's only one thing I can say, I guess.
And that is?
Excuse me, princess.
Alright, the weapons are ready and the combatants are set. It's time to end this surprisingly close debate once and for all.
It's time for a not-death battle!
You okay there?
Shut up.
Sorry, what? I can't credits.
But I just wanted that tantalizing land boil.
Come back. And better.
You are bad at business.
Sorry, Link.
Huh? Whoa! Well, that's certainly not normal.
This copycat is what Ganon must have been up to.
Hey, newsflash, imposter. I know what Ganon can do, and I won't fall for it again.
Are you kidding? I can tell you're the fake. After all, I'm me.
Great. Seems Ganon's fake has a missing link.
I'm actually asked to fight Ganon right now.
You expect me to believe that? If Zelda gets word I'll let you steal the Triforce, she'll never kiss me. Hope you're ready to get zapped.
A kiss from Zelda? That sounds great! Good thing I grabbed my stuff!
Fight!
Seems like my skills are more sharpened.
Bam!
Whoa! Talk about starting things off with a bang. Huh?
Hey, what's up? I'm a moblin.
Hope you don't mind if I borrow you.
What exactly do you mean by that? Huh? Jeez, you look horrifying. Oh, okay. Wow! Now that's a shame. Wait, I can use this.
What, did you just stab a rupee?
You mean Ruby?
Great, he's stupider than I thought.
Luckily for us both, I brought my smart sword. It makes everyone talk. Ah!
Now that's what I call an ironic name.
Yonk!
Ah! Ah!
Hope you like reading me.
Goes to show you can't judge anyone by their cover.
About that. Well,
Good thing I remembered to pack this.
nah, eat this.
Why, certainly. Jeez, talk about getting a cold shoulder. Now that was rude. Ah!
Nope.
You know what they say about what goes around?
What do you mean by that? Ah! Wow, that was a close one.
Watch out below!
Watch out, where? Ow! Boy, it sure is dark around here.
Up and at him!
Ah! Oh! Aw, he whooped his own butt.
This look suits you. Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you doing exactly?
Psyching you out with my duck walk.
You're really quacking me up here.
Huh?
Hey, excuse me, but it's never wise to cut me off.
I prefer to pack a punch.
Oh. Ah!
Ah!
Oh my! Getting a bit too pressured onto here.
Ah!
Whoa! Ah! I think I just knocked my own block off. Yikes!
Really gotcha. Hey, my book. Oh!
That's payback for my ring, you dope.
Even so, you're still no match for my power glove. It makes me stronger than a Dodongo.
Good thing I came prepared. The one that's stronger here is me! Ah! 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 Oh yeah. How about you get a taste of your own?
I just did.
Oh, rubbish! Ah! Bracelet's already out of juice. Wowzers!
Looks like you're no match for me or the king.
Don't know if you noticed, but hope you're ready to go out with a bang.
Won't you get caught in these two?
That's what you think. Sorry to bomb and run, but I gotta excuse myself, me.
Oh boy, that's just what I needed.
Huh? Did the tornado get winded or what?
Heat up! Slice!
Good job. You just threw away my brakes.
Yeah, and it's time to boot you off this ride.
I'll give you a boot.
Ha! Ha! Ha!
No helmets allowed in this flight, chump.
Good thing I'll be the only passenger.
Oh, my precious!
Say goodbye.
Just kidding.
Huh? I thought I saved enough rubies for this.
Aw, you mean these rupees you're keeping here? I saw you use them up earlier when you were giving me a wallop with that glove of yours. Quite the pain, by the way. So I decided to nab your pouch while you decided to hitch my ride. Turns out it was a gem of an idea.
Good thing I still have one of these. Ow! Huh? Oh man, this blows.
You used a bell that Jack writes anyway. Oh no. Oh, Zelda better give me a kiss after this one. That fight, it was so tantalizing!
Looks like it wasn't the Dodongo that got bombed today. The winner is Link.
Next time, but not. Hold on.
Okay, fine. To be fair, while it could easily be summed up like that, it'd be pretty unfair to act as if this was all unclear. And I did say surprisingly close debate. Here's why.
Yeah, surprisingly, both versions of Link had pretty sizable advantages, and it's really hard to say one way or another who had the best advantages, but in the end, we came to agree that Cartoon Link held more of the important ones.
First off, there are a few points at which they are equal, like speed. Neither have much in the way of calculable feats, but with equal leeway, both can scale to Ganon firing lightning, so we can cap them both at the same general range.
There are also a few pieces of equipment that they shared. Both had bombs, both had a sword that shoots energy blasts, both had a shield that can deflect range attacks, and of course, both have the ever-important rope.
When it comes to major weaknesses for either, they probably weren't going to come into play too much. While CDI Link is certainly pretty dopey, he's still at least a competent enough fighter that probably isn't a big deal. And sure, most of his equipment is limited by rubies, but he can carry up to 999 of them, so it probably wasn't going to be a big concern.
Likewise, he didn't have any way to capitalize on his opponent's weakness for Zelda and how damn bad he is. And if CDI Link's dopiness wasn't a huge factor, then Cartoon Link's dopiness definitely wasn't either.
So, let's take a look at their major advantages. First off, in terms of raw physical power, there isn't much CDI Link had, and that does play a very big factor in fights, you know. CDI Link at its absolute peak normally could scale to one of his bombs, about 0.06 tons of TNT or around the low end of small building level.
Cartoon Link, however, can scale to Zelda, whose magic is powerful enough to generate up to 0.32 tons of TNT, in creating that big ice wall, the low end of regular building level.
So, Cartoon Link generally held a 5.3 times power advantage over CDI Link, a big point in his favour.
Meanwhile, CDI Link with the Power Glove becomes strong enough to hit 10 times harder than his own bombs. This doesn't change his durability, but it does increase his attack potency up to 1.875 times that of Cartoon Link. Not a massive advantage, but it does leave him having the advantage in attack potency.
Which Cartoon Link could then back with his magic bracelet, which increases his strength to an unknown degree. But given he was intended to be a direct counter to Ganon's magnet, we can reasonably argue that it would have a similar power output.
Now, Hyrule Castle's size is inconsistent, but we can generally measure out the size of the castle by comparing it to the height of this window, which can be compared to the height of Link.
There's two ways to get the height of Link. One, to measure him compared to how tall he says Sprite is, but doing this makes him like 50 centimeters tall, and that's not right.
On the other hand, we can measure him to how tall he is next to his own pillow, which instead nets a height of over 190 centimeters. While this is also kinda ridiculous, it's not as far-fetched, especially given he is shown later as being a good deal taller than a lot of other people.
Using this to determine roughly the size of Hyrule Castle, we can calculate the power of Ganon's magnet as an output of nearly 3 tons of TNT, or 4.9 times more powerful than CDI Link's output with the Power Glove.
However, that comes with the caveat that it only lasts for 1 minute. So while he does have a huge advantage, that being that his attack potency is nearly 50 times higher than CDI Link's durability, it will only last a short time, and CDI Link has plenty at his disposal to play the keep-away game.
CDI Link's long-range arsenal is up to a lot more than his opponent. While both have energy bolts, CDI Link also has fireballs and ice balls, things that Cartoon Link normally doesn't have to deal with. While the only thing Cartoon Link has alongside his stuff is a few boomerangs. With his equipment, it's totally possible for CDI Link to potentially outlast Cartoon Link's bracelet.
Added to by CDI being the only one here with the ability to heal. While it can only be used once, his Water of Life completely restores him to full fighting ability, so it's possible that if he was hit by Cartoon Link with a bracelet, he might be able to recover from that if he survives it.
So, then we have the question of whether Cartoon Link normally can defeat CDI Link with the Power Glove. And the answer is... yeah, probably. Cartoon Link still has a 5 times power advantage over CDI Link's durability, and CDI Link cannot really use many of his other equipment here.
While his equipment might be good for keep away, it doesn't necessarily have the power to do much to Cartoon Link if it does hit him. And he probably doesn't want to play keep away. If he's using the power glove, he needs to get up close and put his body on the line.
And once they're up close, it really will come down to skill and experience.
And no shit to CDI Link, but he really hasn't shown anything to stack up at all to his opponent. Cartoon Link can land perfect shots with his bow while literally in his sleep, regularly fights large groups of enemies solo, kept up with other experienced fighters like Captain N, and has fought his Ganon many times as equals. Hell, he can even hit targets without looking at them, and bounce his shots perfectly off a plate that was haphazardly thrown to the air 3 times in a row.
CDI Link doesn't generally show that level of skill, and he couldn't even take his Ganon on in a 1v1 fairly as well. He had to use the Book of Koridai, which we should probably get to. There are some tertiary advantages that CDI Link holds. His bell could freeze Cartoon Link in place if Cartoon Link attempted to get around with his magic whistle, and Cartoon Link couldn't really use his force filtering without sacrificing the deflecting power of his regular shield.
At the same time, Cartoon Link's deflecting shield would probably be more useful. The most CDI Link could deflect are blasts from Cartoon Link's Chris Sword, which have proven to be lacking in potency against people like Link himself. To be clear, they still be fine weapons against someone 5 times weaker than them. Shit blows holes in walls and makes explosions, but still. On the other hand, Cartoon Link can deflect CDI Link's fire and ice magic back at him, which would probably be pretty effective.
But what he doesn't have a counter to is the Book of Koridai. Assuming it is able to work on anyone with equal efficiency, it would be an instant win if CDI Link managed to hit Cartoon Link with it. But that's kind of a problem.
There is nothing stopping Cartoon Link from dodging this slowly lifted up and tossed book, or just shooting it out of the air, or shooting his opponent before he could throw it. Frankly, he could just dodge out of the way, pick it up, and then use it back against CDI Link.
So CDI's one-shot option really isn't nearly as reliable as Cartoon Link managing to land a good blow with his bracelet active.
The last thing to mention would be scaling to higher feats. CDI Link could potentially scale to Zelda defeating Ganon in Zelda's Adventure, which would net a similar range of TNT to Cartoon Zelda's Ice feat.
However, there's really no reason to scale Link there. Link has never shown to match his version of Ganon. Back in the first 2 CDI games, Link and Zelda were both significantly weaker than Ganon and need to use specific weapons strong enough to defeat him. By Zelda's Adventure, Link has easily been captured, and Zelda was strong enough to defeat the guy, Ganon, who captured him. It's completely reasonable, and probably makes more sense to say that Zelda is simply more powerful than Link based on this demonstration.
And honestly, if you were to seriously stretch for that scaling, it'd be just as easy, if not easier, to scale Cartoon Link with the Triforce of Wisdom. After all, the only reasons not to are that the Triforce when together is way stronger than him, and that Ganon's shot in that one episode was deflected by the Triforce. Those can be explained really easily.
Yeah, the Triforce together might be stronger than Blink, but that doesn't mean individually they are. And Ganon's shot wasn't the one that was meant to destroy it, it was meant to transport Link into his evil jar.
On the other end of things, Link directly survived the explosion that blew the Triforce of Wisdom to pieces. And that bomb is no different to the kind he just carries around, and what Ganon has even survived directly.
And it's pretty hard to explain away those elements as invalid. With this in mind, Ganon with the magnet still needed the Triforce of Wisdom, establishing that the Triforce of Wisdom was more powerful than the magnet, and thus Cartoon Link could scale to 50 times CDI Link's level just normally. Of course, there are issues with the scaling potentially, but it is easily more usable than scaling CDI Link to the Zelda Adventures feat.
So that's how it stands. CDI Link has a wider arsenal, better healing options, certain counters to his opponent's kit, has an instant one-shot option, and the ability to reach a greater strength than Cartoon Link's base.
However, Cartoon Link can briefly reach higher strengths than anything CDI Link can easily avoid or counter the one-shot, has far superior skill and experience, and is too strong for most of what he's going to be facing to do much to him.
In the end, it was what didn't link them together that made the difference. I'm sure one of them will see the irony.
The winner is Cartoon Link.
Next time!